Hi, today on Papier Plates, we're gonna toss around some ideas. Now, in today's episode, we're gonna be doing one of the first dishes I ever had featured on the menu. Yellow curried mussels with Tasso, stewed leeks, and heirloom carrots. The Tasso we're using today is made by a good friend of mine, the chef Nathanial Zimet of BOUCHERIE. He's gonna show us how he makes Tasso from start to finish.
We start with a pork butt. I think one of the major differences that I do with the Tasso is I like to make kind of bigger pieces.
Yeah.
Tasso is usually used for seasoning, so you heavily salt it, we put it in a basic cure, then we make a barbecue rub that we put it in. 5 days in the cure, 5 days in the rub, and then we smoke it. So I like to do big chunks. A lot of times people use just like little scraps because it is seasoning meat, but the benefit of using big chunks is it really gets to absorb, first of all, more of the rub, but it gets smokier. We don't overcook it, so it's sliceable, and it's almost like a ham as opposed to just something that go into your pot.
You get a nice buttery fat on it too.
Such a delicious thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Really, we'll just kind of take this, go straight down. This is about an optimal size, really. Right about here. And the butt's really an optimal cut because you can see all the different striations of the different muscles, the fat, and even this little connective tissue kind of stuff ends up being pretty delicious.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll just kind of really heavily, pretty liberal with this cure. So our basic cure is pink salt, and just a really small amount of sugar. The pink salt's really kind of crucial for this. It doesn't necessarily do anything for flavor. It does help as a preservative, but the main reason that I like to use it is the color. It changes the texture a little bit and also makes that color bright. Whereas if you just smoke it, the blood almost becomes gray.
Yeah.
And it's just not as appealing.
Yeah.
So we leave this in for 5 days. What'll happen is you'll probably lose about 20% of your moisture. Also, what that does is it intensifies the flavor. It makes it tighter as well. This is a rub that we use for most of our smoked meats.
Yummy.
Thank you. So you do want to make sure it gets into the meat. And so that really, to me, means all those nooks and crannies. This gets that nice, beautiful dark red on the outside. This is really the insertion of flavor.
Gotcha.
Then this goes on the smoker.
Awesome. Today, we're going to be doing mussels in a yellow curry. And it's not Thai curry, it's not Indian curry. It's called Ras Al Hanout. And no, it's not a new Star Wars character. It's a Mediterranean curry, and I'm going to show you how to make it right now. We could go this way, which would be the easy way, or you could say, screw it. We're going this way. First, we're going to start with our basic spice powders. Yellow turmeric. That gives that curry that nice, bright yellowish color. We're going to go with smoked paprika rather than regular paprika because I think that smokiness is really going to pull out that flavor, that Tasso that we got. Next, the ginger. It's going to have a little zing, a little spice. Followed by cinnamon. Very, very common in Mediterranean foods. They use that sort of as a substitute for pepper. Next, we're going to go with a little bit of allspice and nutmeg, which always gives that fragrant floral flavor to it. Black pepper, and our favorite, kosher salt. Kosher salt, always kosher salt. All right, guys, we're going to toast off some of our aromatic spices. We're going to start off with a little bit of cumin. The way I know cumin's ready, it smells like body odor. I know it's gross, but it tastes delicious. Who doesn't like stinky spices? Next, some coriander, and just a couple pieces, oh, there's that smoke, of clove. So we're just going to toast this up just for a few seconds. Then we're going to put this in our spice grinder. This doesn't take long. You can smell that. Woo, someone needs to take a bath. This is ready to go. All right, we're going to take this. Just gently do this, be careful. You want to take it over to your spice grinder. You can use a coffee bean grinder if you want. And let's go ahead and grind it up. Let's do the shake. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, guys, we've got all the spices, and this is the important part when you're mixing your spices up. You want them nice and combined very, very well, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. If you got layers that are not mixed together, you're going to get certain flavors that are going to take over other flavors. So now that we've got this here, we're just going to whisk it together. Now, one thing you can do, if it's not coming out yellow enough for the curry, you can always add a little bit more turmeric to bring out that color. But I think we've got a nice yellow right there. It's like a yellowish red. Once we add this to the broth base, it'll definitely turn more yellow. there we go. There's our base. As you can see, the spice is now yellowed a little bit. The air gets to the spice and it brings out the dominant spices. It oxidizes somewhat. You'll find out with red spice mixes too, especially if you're doing like a Cajun seasoning mix. It's just natural, don't be worried. This is gonna be great. All right, guys. Time to cut your veggies. We're gonna start off with our leeks. You wanna cut off the dark green part. You want everything from the white to the green. And we're gonna julienne this very simply, and watch your fingers. You wanna go from the side that is the thickest in width, cut in 2 pieces like this, slap them around, and then just very slowly and carefully cut them straight back with a sharp knife. So you've got like these little strips. It almost looks like a broom, you know? And you want to do about 1 large leek, be good enough. There you go. You give him a new hipster beer, check this out. Anyway, sorry that was bad. Those are strong leeks. Next, we're going to start with your carrots. Always peel your carrots away from you. We've got these beautiful heirloom carrots. Look at this. This is almost looks like a beet. It's red, huh? Really cool. Just so you know, these carrots don't taste different from regular carrots. It's mainly cosmetic. Or maybe it's Maybelline. Get 1 more carrot. Get all the colors of the carrots in the rainbow. And this is a carrot, not a parsnip. A lot of people will say, that's a parsnip. It's like, you're a parsnip. Don't get parsnippity on me. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to use a tool called a mandolin. And you don't want to play with your fingers, because it'll eat them up. Last time I used one of these, this happened. Yeah! So what we do is gently go back, rotating it. And if you're brave, you can go fast. Look at that. We're going to go ahead and do this with the rest of the carrots. Alright guys, if you use your mandolin, not the Mandalorian, although this is the way.
This is the way.
Your julienne will come out like this. Look how beautiful that looks. Kitchen tip. Save your scraps, guys. This is always great when you're going to make your chicken stock or beef stock, whatever you're going to do. Always good to have. Less money you got to spend later on. Alright, now for the important stuff. This dish is going to need some shallots. It's going to need garlic. So we're going to chop some of that up as well. You can do this in a slab chop, but I wouldn't. If you got the skills, it's not that hard. I know it takes a long time for some people. You can always buy chopped garlic, but I would get the unroasted kind. I've been doing this for so long, it doesn't take much time for me, so I do it like this. Mussels! Show me your mussels. The next step we're taking is clean your mussels. And I'm not talking about washing these big pythons. You want to make sure that you remove the beard from your mussel. Just like my Uncle Sal Leibowitz. See the Yiddish in him? Anyway, so this little thing right here is called beard. We need to remove this because this is nasty. But we do that by grabbing it and just pulling it up till it comes off, and then you're clean, ready to go. Another thing, when you get mussels, always smell them. They should smell like they're from the sea. If your mussels stink, do not eat them. Always ask your seafood purveyor when the caught date was. They have to tell you legally. If it's more than a week old, say no. Say yes to me because I'm big and delicious. Okay, fine enough. Are you dead? Yes, I'm dead. Okay. Why won't you share with your friends? Because I'm shellfish. At this point, we've removed the beard and any barnacles that could be on top and all the dead ones. I usually just give it a water rinse until I get water that's clear. Some people like to use salt or cornmeal as an irritant so it spits out the dust of anything that might be the inside. I find with mussels, especially farmed ones that are PEI, we don't have that issue as much. So I'm just going to give it a nice little rinse and put it aside, and we'll go to the next step. The water runs clear, we know we're good to go, and these will not be nasty. I'm tussle on my mussels. This is the superstar of our dish. People thought it was the mussels. It's not. It's the tasso. This fat is this beautiful buttery smoked flavor. And what's great about it, it's like a chewy bacon, but it adds so much flavor to your dishes. Look at that. It's amazing. Woo! Sorry. Oh. So we're going to take this tasso, cube it up little bitty pieces, and we can see all that scrumptious buttery fat. Thought I was going to say beautiful, didn't you? We've got my mise en place, which is a very fancy French word they teach you in culinary school for everything in its place. So hopefully I've gotten this all right in one spot. And first of all, we're going to start off by... Let me just start all over again. Because I didn't have everything in its place. I forgot my olive oil. Start off with a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to take some of that tasso. Remember we talked about all that delicious smoky fat on there? So we're going to render out the fat. And that fat's going to add to the oil in the pan. Right here, it's crusting up. That burnt part is called the fond. We're going to use that later to add more flavor. You'll see how and why. Okay, we can see it's starting to get a little crispy now. Most of the fat is rendered off. So the next step, those beautiful shallots and garlic we're going to put in there. Basically, you just want to get a little color in your shallots and your garlic. You're not looking to really get it brown. So at this point, the next thing we're going to do is take this fond off the bottom of the pan. We talked about that hard crust. And the way we do that is a little bit of white wine when you glaze a pan. And I really like this Washington State Riesling, mainly because it's not super sweet, but it's not super dry. And it's great because it goes with seafood. And because it's Washington State, it's not that really super sweet Riesling that you're used to. It's got a nice little bit of citrus to it. It's got just the right amount of sugars, and it's just perfect for seafood. All right. And you see now, all that stuff is on the bottom of the pan. We're scraping it off, and it's all becoming part of this sauce. What we're going to do is going to add some of this chicken stock, but this chicken stock actually has a little spice to it, which is kind of cool. Now that we've got that smoky fat, the tasso, we've got the shallots, we've got the garlic, we got that Riesling wine in there, and the chicken stock. Boom! Punch in the face. It's great. All right. So our tasso is starting to dance. They're having a little do-si-do with the garlic and the shallots, as you can see, dancing around right now. So now it's starting to boil. I'm going to take a little bit of my curry powder we made. I'm just going to add that in there. And we're going to taste this as we go. We're just going to mix it up. You can see it's sort of like a mustard yellow, like a dark mustard yellow color. Give a little taste. Here we're going. That does not suck. That's actually pretty decent. Now, I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of cream. And you're going to see that color all start to come together now. There's our yellow. And if you notice, this is more of a broth than a cream sauce. It's just to bind all that stuff together and just give it a little butteriness. And what gives them something butteriness? Butter. I got butterfingers. Great. There we go. Look at that. See, it's all coming together. Let's take a little taste. Happy dance. This is where we take our mussels and just dump them in there. Look how that's coming together. The next thing we're going to do is cover it up. And here's a tip. When it comes to mussels, a lot of times you go out to places and you see these little bitty orange pink chewing gums. That's the wrong way to do it. With mussels, when it opens up and the sides detach from the mussel, and you got that plump little, almost like a raw oyster looks, but a little more tight around the edges. And the way we're going to do that is steam it just by putting a lid on it. Two things are going to happen. All the flavor from the mussels are going to go into the sauce itself, and all the juice from the curry is going to go into the mussels. So they're kind of working together in harmony.
5 minutes later.
Take the lid off. Look at this. We are pretty much ready to go at this point. You just scoop them, put them in a bowl on the side, or what you can do, it's probably an even better idea, for your guest, go ahead and serve them in the bowl they're going to get. Okay, next thing, we've got this broth going in here. We're going to go ahead and take our leeks and our colorful carrots. We're going to stew this up just for a little bit, just to get them soft. And this is going to be our garnish. This goes by pretty quickly too as well, because basically what we're looking for, just to get them nice and soft. Once it gets really droopy, you know we're good to go. So at this point we take these guys, garnish the top of your dish. There we go. You want to take some of that yummy broth. Try to grab some of that Tasso, and just going to pour it all on top. Look at that. Oh, that's sexy. That's making me hungry right now as I'm watching it. And at this point, we are pretty much ready to go to eat. I like to go ahead and grill some bread with a little bit of olive oil on it and use it for dipping in the sauce afterwards. This is our dish, guys. Well, this is the dish that really is brought up by your Tasso. And your Tasso, yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate you letting me doing this. And you know, they say Karen is sharing.
Not that kind of Karen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anyway, man. Cheers. Let's get this a taste.
Cheers.
Dig on in.
It's delicious.
Dip some of that bread in there too. Little olive oil grilled bread.
Tastes great.
Tell me a little about what you're doing right now and what's going on with the pandemic.
You know, the restaurant, Boucherie, hasn't been open since March 13th. That was literally our last day.
Wow.
Longest that Boucherie has ever not been open in 12 years. So what we're doing now here is we're taking that time, we're renovating, we're building a big space outside so that we can get people to come in and eat. But in the interim, I'm doing the mass feeding initiative, which is 30,000 people 2 meals a day, so 60,000 meals a day for a month. And we're trying to do what we can to feed the community. I'm also doing this thing where we're feeding COVID relief workers at the Hampton Inn downtown, which has been crazy. I mean, there's such an influx of people coming, and obviously New Orleans has been hit pretty hard. So we'll keep doing it as long as we can. Yeah. And the good news is I've really been able to maintain the majority of my kitchen staff at least, and
Keep them employed.
Keep them employed, and my other restaurant, BOUREE, which is across the street. Yeah. It's that's actually where you get the Tasso from.
Yeah, exactly. So when you come to New Orleans and you get some Tasso or boudin, BOUREE is the place you got to go.
You got it.
And not to mention the amazing daiquiris you got there.
Awesome.
I mean,
daiquiris.
His daiquiris, guys, it's not a mix. He's fresh squeezing limes on it. He's getting, you know, exotic fruits and herbs and everything put into it. It's nothing like you've ever had, nothing like you'll ever have.
Oh, they're so good, man. We have a hurricane, and it's just not your average dirty Bourbon Street hurricane. I mean, it's made with passion fruit. Super delicious, lots of bitters. We might have the Suadua too, which is badass. That's my new happy. Which, you know, especially because I'm not sleeping a lot, so I get this coffee daiquiri that just makes you want to keep working.
and
keep working.
Well, cool, man.
This has been delicious. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, again, thank you. Cheers, Chef Nathaniel Zimet from Boucherie and BOUREE. Give him a check.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody. This is a lot of fun, and there's more to come. If you want to see future installments, please be sure to give me a like and click the subscribe button. Be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page at PAPIER PLATES. If you try this at home, take a snap and tag me. You can also DM me if you have any questions. And remember, always cook with love.